The black void above Earth's blue glow was silent, save for the faint hum of Vrak's scout ship's engines. Commander Zrath scanned the planetary surface below, his 6 eyes narrowing at the swirling clouds and sprawling cities. The transmissions intercepted en route had been unremarkable: primitive technology, weak defenses, fractured societies. The Vrak's High Council had dismissed Earth as an insignificant backwater, a planet ripe for easy control or exploitation. Zratha's mission was simple: observe, catalog, report. Then, if the threat was minimal, prepare for a quiet annexation. "Commander," the ship's communications officer chirped, "we are picking up encrypted transmissions emanating from the northern hemisphere, human military frequencies, but different. More complex. Coordinated." Zratha's multifaceted eyes flicked toward the console. "Analyze." "Could be a resistance faction," he muttered. Humans had a reputation for fracturing into countless petty groups. A resistance cell would be expected, but easily crushed. The analysis came back: layered encryption, multiple transmission nodes, frequent bursts of coded signals. Something was hiding beneath the surface of this supposedly weak world. "Prepare a landing party," Zrath ordered. "We will investigate. Let's see what these humans are hiding." The small Vrax shuttle dropped through Earth's atmosphere like a shadow, barely visible against the night sky. Its sleek metallic surface reflected the moonlight as it descended near an isolated forest clearing. Zrath led his team out, cloaked in advanced stealth suits that shimmered slightly against the darkness. The forest was eerily quiet. Not a single bird called, not a single leaf stirred. As they advanced, low murmurs reached their ears, hushed voices exchanging hurried words in a language foreign, and yet somehow primal. Zrath gestured for silence. They found the source, a hidden encampment of humans, armed but wary. The humans wore makeshift armor, scars marking their faces, survivors, fighters, and outcasts. The Vrax's initial disdain flickered into curiosity. These weren't helpless primitives. These were hardened warriors. Suddenly, the camp erupted in alarm. "Traitor," a human shouted, pointing at one of their own, a man in tattered uniform who tried to flee. Zratha's curiosity piqued. "Traitor," he whispered to his second-in-command. The humans quickly subdued the man, binding his wrists with crude rope. But what followed shocked the Vrax beyond comprehension. They dragged the man to the center of the camp, a ring of fire casting monstrous shadows on their faces. The human spoke words filled with fury and betrayal. The captive did not plead or cry. Instead, his gaze was cold, resigned. Without ceremony, the leader raised a blade, not for torture, but for ritual. Zratha's gut tightened as the humans began a brutal and precise execution. The traitor was made an example, not with mercy, but with cold, unyielding justice. The camp watched, silent and reverent. It was not the cruelty that startled Zrath. No, the Vrax had seen brutality before. What unsettled him was the order, the purpose, the fierce unity behind it. After the deed, the camp quieted, the humans turning to face the Vrax scouts as if daring them to interfere. Zrath stepped forward, voice steady but edged with newfound respect. "You punish traitors with finality." The human leader's eyes burned into his. "We survive because we do. Traitors don't get mercy here. We do what must be done to protect what we are." Zrath felt a chill. This was no weak planet. This was a crucible forged by fire and blood. "Report to the High Council," he murmured. "Earth is not to be underestimated, and their justice is a weapon." The roar of gunfire shattered the dense forest air as Earth's resistance fighters clashed with the advancing Vrax patrol. Bullets met plasma bolts in a deadly dance, flashes of light illuminating the desperate struggle beneath twisted branches. Among the resistance was Captain Lena Morales, a seasoned operative known for her tactical brilliance and unbreakable will. She darted between trees, coordinating her squad with sharp hand signals, eyes constantly scanning for threats. Their mission was simple yet dangerous: intercept Vrax scouts and disrupt their reconnaissance. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the ground nearby. Lena's world tipped sideways as a stun grenade detonated at her feet. The last thing she saw before darkness swallowed her was the looming silhouette of a Vrax warrior. When Lena awoke, the sterile cold of an alien cell greeted her. The faint hum of advanced machinery filled the room, stark white walls reflecting the harsh light overhead. She was shackled, her wrists and ankles restrained by a technology that suppressed her strength. A pair of glowing eyes appeared in the shadows, a Vrax interrogator, tall and imposing, with skin like burnished metal and sharp, angular features. His voice was low, clipped, and filled with authority. You are far from home, human. Your resistance is commendable but futile. Tell me what you know. Lena's lips curled in defiance. You'll get nothing. The interrogator's eyes narrowed. You don't understand what happens to traitors here on Earth. A flicker of curiosity sparked in Lena. Traitors? What do you mean? The Vrax's expression hardened. You humans punish betrayal with extreme measures. We witnessed it firsthand. The cruelty was unexpected. Lena's voice dropped, icy and steady. That cruelty is survival. Traitors aren't just enemies, they're poison. They weaken everything we fight for. On Earth, betrayal means death, and death means a warning. Days passed. The interrogation was relentless, but methodical. The Vrax interrogator used a mix of technology and psychological tactics, probing for weaknesses' secrets. Yet Lena endured, each session sharpening her resolve. Inside the Vrax ship, the interrogator reviewed reports from Commander Zratha's team. The reports described Earth's harsh justice with growing concern. The humans' ruthless punishment of traitors wasn't just fear or violence. It was an unbreakable code, an expression of something deeper and more dangerous. What makes your traitor policy so effective? The interrogator asked one evening, leaning forward. Lena's gaze met his unflinching. Because it's not just punishment. It's a statement. It binds us. Betrayal breaks a chain that keeps us alive. When we destroy a traitor, we remind everyone else why loyalty matters. It's fear, yes, but fear of losing everything you hold dear. The interrogator was silent for a moment, the weight of her words sinking in. Meanwhile, on Earth, General Marcus Adebayo stood before a war council, tension thick in the room. News of Lena's capture had reached Earth's command, and they knew what the Vrax would do next. The Vrax are underestimating us, Marcus said, his voice grim but resolute. They think we're weak because we don't have the same firepower. But they don't understand our resolve. They don't understand what happens to traitors. His second-in-command, Colonel Park, nodded. We prepare a strike team to recover Captain Morales. We strike fast, hit hard, and remind the Vrax exactly why Earth's traitors are dealt with so harshly. Marcus clenched his fists. It's more than a rescue. It's a warning to the Vrax, and any who think Earth is an easy conquest. Back aboard the Vrax ship, the interrogator sessions with Lena grew more intense. The Vrax tried advanced neural probes, memory extraction devices, anything to crack her will. But each attempt was met with resistance born not only from training, but from a fierce human spirit no technology could break. One night, as Lena lay strapped to the interrogation chair, the interrogator leaned close. You must understand, human. Your methods frighten us. The brutality you accept, it's unlike anything in our culture. Lena smiled thinly. You see brutality, we see survival. You don't understand our history, the wars, the betrayals that nearly destroyed us all. What we do to traitors isn't cruelty for cruelty's sake. It's the cost of keeping humanity alive. Her words hung in the air, a stark warning cloaked in quiet strength. As the Vrax prepared their next move, Lena's resolve never wavered. She knew rescue was coming. She knew Earth would not abandon one of their own. And deep within the cold metal corridors of the Vrax ship, the seeds of doubt and fear began to take root. Earth was not the easy prey they had imagined. They had seen what humanity did to traitors. And now, they would soon learn what it meant to cross Earth. The cold metal walls of the Vrax ship echoed with the steady rhythm of footsteps as Interrogator Kthar walked toward the holding chamber. The faint hum of machinery and distant stars beyond the viewport were the only constants in this alien world. Yet, Kthar's thoughts churned with something new, respect mixed with unease. Humanity was not what the Vraks had expected. On Earth, decades before the current conflict, the world had been fractured by relentless wars and betrayals. Governments rose and fell overnight. Alliances shattered like glass, and entire cities fell to internal treachery. The darkest days saw human civilization on the brink of collapse, ravaged not just by enemies, but by those who turned against their own. From the ashes, a harsh doctrine emerged, one forged in blood and iron. Traitors do not deserve mercy. Not because humanity was cruel, but because survival demanded it. The traitor was no longer just a foe. They were a cancer within the body of humanity, a slow poison that would kill all if left unchecked. Back aboard the Vrak ship, Kthar sat across from Lena Morales, their faces lit by cold blue light. "Tell me more," Kthar said softly, genuinely curious. "Why such severity? Why does Earth bind itself to this harsh justice?" Lena's gaze was steady, unwavering. "Because without it, we'd fall apart. We've lost too many to betrayal. Families, friends, entire communities destroyed by those who sell us out for power, greed, or fear. The consequences aren't just punishment, they're survival mechanisms." She paused, then continued with quiet conviction. "When a traitor is executed, it sends a message to everyone else. Loyalty isn't just expected, it's required. We have no room for weakness. Not when our enemies are waiting to tear us apart." Kthar processed her words, feeling the weight behind them. A cultural code built on scars and sacrifice. Kthar's communicator beeped sharply, breaking the heavy silence. Commander's Wrath reporting. The voice crackled through. "The resistance on Earth is mobilizing. We've detected coordinated strikes near our forward bases. They're preparing for a counterattack." Kthar stood, turning to Lena. "It appears your people do not suffer defeat quietly." Lena's lips curled into a defiant smile. "We never do." The Vrak's commander's words echoed in Kthar's mind as he made his way to the command deck. The aliens' arrogance was unraveling. The Earthlings' justice, their brutal handling of traitors, was more than punishment. It was the backbone of a society desperate to hold itself together. The interrogator's thoughts drifted to the scene that had haunted them since first witnessing the execution in the forest camp. The ritual, the cold precision. It was a form of cleansing, a deadly reassurance that loyalty would prevail at all costs. On Earth, General Marcus Adebayo reviewed footage from the latest skirmishes. The resistance fighters had struck hard, striking at Vrak supply lines, capturing prisoners, and refusing to yield. "Prepare the extraction team," Marcus commanded. "Captain Morales must be brought home. The Vraks will learn what happens to those who threaten Earth's unity." Colonel Park nodded. "We've assembled a strike force, elite soldiers, the best we have. The mission is risky, but failure is not an option." Marcus' eyes narrowed. "Earth's justice is a double-edged sword. We wield it carefully, but with deadly precision." Back in the interrogation chamber, Lena's strength had begun to wear on Kthar. Not because she was broken, she was not, but because her conviction was absolute. The interrogator realized something that made his antennae twitch uneasily. The traitor punishment wasn't just about justice. It was a symbol of something deeper, something almost sacred. "It is not only punishment, then?" Kthar asked quietly. "It is a foundation." Lena nodded. "Exactly. It binds us. It is why we endure. Because if we falter on loyalty, everything else crumbles." As the Vrak ship prepared for the inevitable Earthstrike, Kthar stood at the viewport, looking down at the glowing orb that was humanity's home. "They are not weak," he murmured to himself. "They are forged in fire, and their justice, it is their greatest weapon." A new fear blossomed in the heart of the Vraks. The war for Earth would not be simple. It would be brutal. And Earth's harsh justice would be the fulcrum on which everything turned. The Vraks warship's tribunal chamber was a cold, clinical arena. Sterile walls bathed in soft blue light, hovering holographic displays projecting the evidence against the captured human operative, Captain Lena Morales. Several Vraks elders sat in rigid seats, their multi-jointed limbs folded. eyes glowing faintly as they prepared to hear the case. Interrogator Kthar stood by, flanked by armor guards, as Lena was led into the chamber. Despite her restraints, her posture was unyielding. Her eyes burned with a fierce light that unsettled even the stoic Vrax judges. "Captain Morales," intoned the chief elder, voice calm and precise. "You stand accused of acts of rebellion, sabotage, and violent resistance against the Vrax coalition. You will be judged according to our laws." Lena's response was a cold, unwavering glare. "You judge by laws written in shadows and fear. I answer only to my people and their justice." The Vrax legal system was meticulous and detached. They believed in fairness, process, and reasoned debate, a stark contrast to the raw, immediate justice Lena had spoken of on Earth. Evidence was presented, testimonies recorded. The Vrax elders deliberated quietly, their minds parsing through facts and law. But Lena's defiance gnawed at them. Her courage was not the desperation of a cornered animal. It was the certainty of a warrior defending what she believed. Kthar watched the proceedings with growing discomfort. He understood Earth's harsh justice now. The Vrax system felt inadequate against such fierce conviction. Midway through the trial, an unexpected alert interrupted the session. Security breach detected. Possible infiltration in Sector 4. The chamber's atmosphere shifted instantly. Guards tensed, and the chief elder's eyes flashed. Kthar was dispatched immediately to investigate. As he left, Lena caught the briefest glimpse of a shadow slipping silently down a corridor, a figure cloaked in stealth technology unfamiliar even to the Vrax. Kthar's investigation led him to a sealed control room where a shock technician awaited. "There's been a sabotage," the technician reported. "Critical systems compromised. Someone inside is working against us." Kthar's mind raced. Had the humans found allies within the Vrax? Or worse, was there a traitor among their own? Back in the tribunal chamber, Lena remained composed despite the chaos erupting around her. Her mind raced too. This unexpected breach could tip the balance. If the Vrax were fracturing from within, Earth's hope of survival could grow stronger. Suddenly, the doors burst open. Commander Zrath entered, his expression grim. "There's been a betrayal within our ranks. We suspect an insider aiding the humans." The tribunal fell into stunned silence. Lena's eyes gleamed with a mixture of satisfaction and resolve. Traitors are everywhere, even among the mighty. Kthar returned, nodding gravely. "The Vrax must face our own traitors before we judge others." The chief elder's voice echoed with newfound authority. "This trial will continue once we root out the betrayer." The tribunal was adjourned, but the tension lingered like a storm cloud. As the Vrax scrambled to uncover the internal traitor, Lena's story spread quietly among resistance cells, a spark of hope and defiance. Earth's justice was no mere punishment. It was a mirror held to all who dared betray loyalty, a warning echoed across stars and civilizations. That night, as the Vrax ship prepared for turmoil within, Lena lay in her cell, listening to the hum of the ship's engines. She thought of Earth, its brutal past, its unbreakable will, and the truth behind their justice. No matter what came next, the message was clear. Betrayal would not go unpunished. Not on Earth. Not anywhere. The night sky above the Vrax forward base flickered with distant lightning storms, masking the faint hum of engines gathering below. Hidden beneath the shadow of a mountain ridge, Earth's elite strike team assembled silently, their faces steeled with resolve. General Marcus Adebayo's voice crackled in their earpieces, calm but commanding. "Remember your training. We're not just rescuing one of our own, we're sending a message. Earth doesn't forgive betrayal, and it doesn't surrender its people." Captain Lena Morales sat among the strike team, recovered, but still bearing the scars of captivity. Her eyes flickered with a quiet fire as she checked her gear, weapons optimized for quick, brutal engagements, gadgets designed for stealth and disruption. "Let's remind these aliens who owns this battlefield," she said with a wry smile. The Vrax base was a fortress, towering walls of gleaming metal, energy shields humming softly, armed sentinels patrolling in calculated rhythm. But Earth's strike team had studied their enemy. They knew the base's blind spots, the cadence of patrols, and the gaps in the alien surveillance grid. With surgical precision, the team slipped through the shadows, disabling security nodes and silently taking down sentries. Lena led the way, moving like a ghost through the alien halls. Deep inside the command center, the Vrax leaders scrambled to respond to the sudden alarms. Intruders detected in Sector 7, a technician reported. Unknown human forces. Commander Zratha's voice was sharp with frustration. Deploy countermeasures. Lock down all access points. But the Earth team was already inside, hacking systems, disrupting communications, sowing chaos. Lena reached the cell block where she had been held captive. With practiced ease, she disabled the locks and stepped inside. Other prisoners, resistance fighters and allies, stared in disbelief as she moved through the corridor like a liberator. "Time to end this nightmare," she whispered. The battle intensified. Vrax forces surged through the halls, plasma weapons lighting the darkened corridors. Earth's team fought back with ferocity born from desperation and determination, close-quarters combat, guerrilla tactics, and ruthless efficiency. Explosions rocked the base, alarms blaring. The strike team pushed forward, determined to reach the command deck. At the center of the chaos, Lena confronted Commander Zrath face to face. His 6 eyes locked on hers with cold fury. "You humans are relentless," he growled. "You fight like cornered beasts." "And we survive like lions," Lena shot back, raising her weapon. Their battle was fierce but brief. Lena's agility and grit outmatched Zratha's strength and precision. When she finally disarmed him, she whispered, "This is what happens when you underestimate Earth." Outside, the strike team planted explosives on key structural points, ready to collapse the Vrax stronghold from within. "Time to vanish," Marcus's voice came over the comms. "Exfiltrate immediately." With the base erupting behind them, the Earth team retreated into the night, shadows swallowed by the forest. As the Vrax base crumbled in a fiery blast, the message was clear. Earth's traitor justice was not just words. It was the foundation of a brutal, unyielding spirit. Commander Zrath, captured and defeated, could no longer deny what the Vrax had learned the hard way. Humanity was a force born from fire, bound by loyalty and fierce enough to destroy any who betrayed it. The ruins of the Vrax forward base smoldered beneath a pale dawn. Smoke curled into the sky, like a dark omen as Earth's strike team regrouped in the forest clearing, breaths heavy, muscles aching, but spirits unbroken. Captain Lena Morales stood at the edge of the rubble, her eyes scanning the horizon. The mission was a success, but the cost weighed heavily. Allies lost, wounds deep, not just in flesh, but in the soul of a war hardened by betrayal. General Marcus Adebayo approached, his expression grave but resolute. "You did what few thought possible," he said quietly. "The Vrax believed Earth was weak. They underestimated the price we pay for loyalty." Lena turned, meeting his gaze. "They saw what we do to traitors, and now they know what happens to anyone who crosses us." Meanwhile, aboard the crippled Vrax ship, Commander Zrath sat shackled in a dim cell, his 6 eyes dull with defeat. Interrogator Kthar approached, his posture unusually subdued. "You underestimated humanity," Kthar said softly. "Their justice isn't weakness, it's their strength." Zratha's voice was a bitter rasp. "And now they will hunt us across the stars." Kthar nodded slowly. "Perhaps. But we have learned. The cost of betrayal is universal, even among us." Back on Earth, the War Council convened in a fortified chamber, the atmosphere charged with a new urgency. Reports of the strike had spread like wildfire, igniting hope and fear in equal measure. Colonel Park addressed the council. "The Vrax will retaliate, more ruthless than ever, but they will think twice before underestimating Earth again." General Marcus rose, voice steady. "Earth's justice is harsh, but it is just. We protect what we build, and we destroy what threatens our unity. Traitors are the weakest link, and we will break them without hesitation." The room echoed with agreement. In a quiet moment, Lena sat alone, the weight of command settling upon her shoulders. The faces of those lost flickered in her mind, the sacrifice behind every harsh decision. She whispered to the night, "This is our world, our home, our code. Betrayal has no place here." Her resolve hardened. The war was far from over, but Earth's message was clear and unstoppable. As stars glittered cold and distant overhead, humanity stood tall, scarred but unbroken, fierce and united. They had shown the universe the price of betrayal. They had shown the universe what Earth does to traitors.